Hello, Ananya, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Ananya, can you hear me?
Hear
Hello,
you.
hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So, Ananya, tell me, please, was homework difficult?
No, it wasn't difficult.
Okay, that's a good start. Okay, can you please share it?
Yeah.
So, where is the variables that you have in this class?
Here.
Okay, but how you managed to find total accounts? Did you find it on your own? The total accounts on line 6.
I did plus here and then
Okay, but I
and then
mean,
I returned
yes,
it.
but
Yeah, I returned it here.
we didn't take yet the total accounts, I mean the static variables. So what do you know here about the static variables?
No, what I did was I did total accounts. Like it adds one every single time this constructor, like you make a new object out of it.
Mm-hmm. So the purpose of the total accounts is to find how many objects you created of the bank account class. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Will we be able to call or access total accounts uh, with the object name or with the class name?
With the class. No, sorry, with the object name.
Can you prove this to me? You have a main, right? You created a main file, right? Inside your main file, what do
Yeah,
you have?
yeah. I have the object name.
No. We are calling the class from here. This is the main. Okay, perfect. So you created how many objects here? First account and second
Two.
account. Two, perfect. Okay, and then you created debit. And what is the purpose of this line?
Oh, so this one it takes the oh sorry, these are the objects. I said the wrong thing. It belongs to the class. So then from the class it finds out how many total accounts there are.
Okay, so if we created,
Like because over here.
okay, okay. And are we able to access the account owner from the class name or from the object name?
The owner
So how many
class
owners
name.
we have? Okay, class name. Okay, okay. Again, how many objects you already created?
Two.
Okay, and the owner name belong. It's an instance variable or status is static variable. Or can we say it? Can we say it? You have to allow me to write. So we have two things that we need to. So variable in a class, there is instance variable. Uh, I do not know why. Okay, I cannot write. I think you are exiting the current screen. I can't write,
No, I'm not. I'm on this screen.
but I can't
I'll
write.
try sharing again, but I've been on the same screen, but I'll try sharing again.
Okay, that is a bit strange. I can't write. Okay, now I can. Okay, so inside. every class, the variable are divided into two types. One is called instance, and one is called class variable. This class variable is always used with the word static. And so can you recognize from me here, where is the instance variables in this class?
Instance are these two, and then the static is, the class variable is this one.
Okay, perfect. So when I say instance, it means that it's only accessible from objects. So you only have access to them using objects. If I say class variable, which is a static, it is accessible using the class name. Okay? Okay. Why do we need to create a class for a bank account?
Because a bank account is because the bank account has many like parts of it. Like there's the deposit, there's withdrawing, there's the balance, and then the parts of it are the instance variables
Mm-hmm.
or
Okay.
instance methods.
And can I know here, the withdraw, did you do any checks here on the withdraw? What is the purpose of the withdraw method first?
It's to like you like if you have a specific amount of money that you're trying to take out, it'll like take away that money from your balance now. Like if I'm
Okay,
taking out $100 and I have $400, I'll have 300 now.
perfect. If I put 0,
Nothing will happen because you didn't take out any money. Like it'll just stay the same.
okay, but you will still perform this operation.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I'd call it. Like if you're not gonna take anything out, why would you call this?
Does this make sense? Okay, so do you think it is possible to make any protection to check if the amount is bigger than 0? Then you call this, else you show an error message. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Does this protect your maybe, how to say, balance, or protect from any strange operation? Is it possible that I can pass -1? If you didn't put this check, is it possible that I can pass -1 in the amount?
I think you could. And then it would have added money.
It would have added money, even though you are withdrawing, right? So it means that some
Yeah.
some wrong operation is being done. So when you put bigger than 0 as a protection, you're actually protecting from adding money to the balance, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you put here? Okay, error. Okay, fine. Okay, I am satisfied with this kind of questions, and we can start to proceed. Okay.
Okay.
I need to open here with. Okay, have a look, please, at the point class before we move to the next.
Okay, I looked at it.
Okay, so a point class is enclosing X and Y only, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. If you try to print if you try to print out the P, so we created an object B, and this P is actually a point that have 10 as an X and 7 as a Y. If I try to print it out, it will print out something like this. And this part is the memory address where this object is actually located in the memory. You know what's the meaning memory? You know what? Did you ever hear about RAM?
The address, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So inside the memory, there is spaces to store information, but this space is numbered with addresses. Okay, same like in houses in an area. Okay, so I mean, the end user is not interested in seeing an address when he want to print P. When he want to print P, he would be interested in knowing actually the instant variable values of that object. So when you try to print P, we would be expecting something like this. But what will be printed out is the address of the object in the memory. And this is not interesting to us. Okay, so are we able to make a proper print statement outside the class itself? Yes, it's possible. So you can say P is, and then you start to get the X, and then put a comma, and then start to get the Y, and then put the brackets, so that you can end up with printing B is having a point 10 and 7. So this is what we're trying to achieve, which is printing the P in this format. And you can achieve it if you do this in the void main. But there is a smarter way that we can use it. So how we achieve that in a proper way? We actually can make a method inside our class that's called toString. So this toString method, we can define it inside our class, and whenever we call the P, which is an object here, in this way, it will automatically call the toString method. So whatever you define inside the toString method will be printed out. So instead of printing out this, you can print out, if you don't have this toString defined inside your class, like in our current case, you will only see this memory address if you try to print the class. So the class have a behavior, and the behavior is stated based on the amount of methods that you have inside the class. In the previous class, in the slides before here, I didn't have any method that's called toString. All the methods here is translate, set location, get Y, get X, and so on, and the constructor. But we did not define a method that's called toString. We did not define it yet. So what we are learning today, that if we define a method that is inside the class that's called toString, whenever we try to print out the point class, we will be able to see specific data that's being printed out instead of the address of the class. So initially, please create this class and do not write all these methods. I'm not interested in this at the moment. I want you to focus only on this part. So I would like you to print or to create a class point with X and Y and a constructor only. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay, please do it.
I wrote it.
Okay, that's good. So if you wrote it, I would like you to try to write these 2 lines. Ananya, do you have quarter holidays? Is it your year is divided into quarters or not?
I Can you give me like an example? Like, do you mean like the seasons? Like if there's a spring break, a summer break,
Um,
and
no,
like that?
in the English curriculum, we typically have um, every quarter there is maybe like 1 week or 3 or 4 days holidays between the quarters. So every 2 or 3 months is divided into quarter. So the whole year is divided into quarter. So we have 4 quarters.
Oh no, we don't have that.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you only have
We have semesters.
semesters. And how big is the semester?
Yeah. Like the first semester is August to December, and then the second semester is January to June. But like June, the first week.
Oh, okay. Only two
It,
semesters. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So are you done?
Yeah, I wrote the code, but then it's saying illegal start of type.
Okay. Can you first tell me, did you create the class outside the void main? And these two lines should be inside the void main. Do you know? So,
Oh, okay.
okay, we have a class and we have a driver class. The driver class is the one that contains the void main. And normally we create objects inside the driver class and inside the void main.
Yeah, that's the mistake I made. I'm still getting an identifier expected error.
Please share with me. Let me check what's happening on your side.
Oh wait, never mind. Sorry, I saw the mistake.
Okay,
I saw the mistake.
perfect. Okay, so now does it run?
Now it's saying there get x and get y is an undefined method.
Undefined method. Show me,
Can you
please.
go back to the previous slide, please? Yeah.
So,
Hello.
Ananya, can you hear me? Ananya, can you
Hello?
hear me? Yes,
Yeah, I can
Ananya.
hear you now.
Okay, so Ananya,
Yeah, hello? Yeah.
yes, okay. So Ananya, I would like you to do this, please. Comment line number 5, please. Perfect, run.
Okay. Yeah, it only prints out the address of it, not like what exactly it is.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, now you understand that when we try to print B, this is what happens. Okay, perfect. So let me start sharing with you how we can improve that. So to improve that, let me start sharing here. I would say this. So inside your class, I would like you to create a method, a new method. And this toString method is a standard method that you can override. Okay, so what I want to say that this toString, you can create it with any object, with any class that you have. You can create it with a bank account, with a point, with anyone. So this is a kind of standard that we should be able to use if we would like to have a behavior of printing the object. So I am defining here, if I call the toString, or if I want to print my object content, I should define here what should be showing out to the user. So I'm showing out here that I want to print brackets. I'm also print a closing brackets, and inside that brackets, I have X, and then I have the comma, and then I have the value of Y. So I will print the value of X and Y in between brackets, comma, and opening brackets, comma, closing brackets. So can you please write this to your class, inside your class, not the void main. Go to the class point and create a toString method.
Okay. I wrote it.
Can you please run again your code and tell me if you still see the address of the P object inside the memory or not? So what is the output if you run your code now?
Oh, it's the numbers now. 10 and 7.
Okay, that is perfect. So is that your code like this? Does your code looks like this? So you have your point class and you have a method like this. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but why does it work for the toString?
So, okay, because the toString is actually, how to say, a standard method that is actually built in every object. But when you, and so the default behavior, okay, let me explain again. This toString method is actually standard and it's hidden and it's added automatically to every class that you create. So every class you create, it have a toString method that you cannot see. But when you create your own version of the toString, it overrides the default behavior of Java. The default behavior of Java is that when you try to print any object, it will call the toString, and the toString only print one thing, the address of the object in the memory. But we do not want that. That's not interesting to us. So we created another version. We overloaded the toString, and we create another version that actually defines the behavior that we would like to see if we print the object itself. So is that toString, it's only a custom method? No, it's not a custom method. It is an overloaded method, which means that the toString is already inserted automatically with Java without you seeing it. That's why when you try to print the method, he doesn't show you an error. He only show you the address of the object in the memory. But we do not want that. So we override that. Override means I defined a custom behavior for the toString so that it doesn't print the address of the object in the memory. I would like it to address or to print this specific content. Am I able to change this content? Yes. If you are printing bank account, you can put here the owner and the balance instead of X and Y. So it depends on your in your class, what is it doing and what you would like you print when you or what would you want the user to see when he tried to print the object. So can you go back? Can you share your code, please?
Yeah.
Actually, can you tell me what did you understand just now when I speak about toString? I feel that you are a bit confused or maybe not focused.
I understood that you said that toString is normally a method that like we are overloading the method and normally it'll just print out the address, but because we're overloading it, it doesn't print out just the address.
Okay. Are you able to share your code for the bank account? You remember the homework just now? We look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Ananya, are you sharing?
Yeah, sorry, I just couldn't find it.
Perfect, Ananya. Can you please do a print statement? I can't write, Ananya. Yes,
I
okay.
swear I don't I
No,
haven't like
no
okay.
problem. Okay, now I can write. So it's okay. I just want you to know one thing. If you go to the main, and then did you go to the main? Did you click on the main? Yes,
Yeah, I
perfect.
did. I
Okay.
did.
Yes, okay. So what I want to say here, that you created an object, Ananya. You created an object that's called
Yeah.
first account,
Mm-hmm.
right? Can you try to print it, please?
Prints out the address of the object.
Okay. Can you now go and define a toString method inside the bank account? So now I prove to you that any method, any class that you try to print without defining the custom method toString or overwriting its behavior, you will always see no void. This toString is returning a string. So you have to make it return a string, public string toString. Perfect. It doesn't take anything, and you should return a string of your own design. So design a string that you would like it to be printed out. Ananya, can I know what are you doing?
Like I'm printing out the owner name and the balance.
Okay, did you go back to bank account to write that? Because I didn't see that. You are now in the main, right?
No, I'm in bank account. Does it not show what I'm doing?
No, it shows the mouse moving, but I am still seeing the main, not the bank account. I'm not very
Oh,
sure why is that.
oh, I'll start sharing again. I already wrote the code. I was about to print it. Can you see it now?
Not yet. It's still in the sharing process. Okay, now I can see it. Yes, perfect. Okay, you can run now.
Yeah, now it prints.
Okay, so yeah, that's good. So it prints out what you design inside the toString, right? Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, now I get it.
Okay, let us move to back to here. So I want to, can you stop sharing so that I can share with you here?
I already stopped.
Perfect. Okay, so do you see my code?
Mm-hmm.
We created two objects, P1 and P2, out of the point. And if we call P1 alone, because since we already defined the toString as a method inside our class point, when we try to call P1, or when we try to call P2 with dot toString, both will give the same behavior. So you either call like this or like this, it will both print out this, which is the thing or the custom string that you already designed inside the toString. So you have two options. If you see a code like this or like this, they are both doing the same thing. So P1, if you omit toString, it will
I thought
also
the
go.
first version wouldn't work.
Both of them will work because you already defined toString. Both version will work. So if the
Oh,
Java
okay.
see
Oh,
that
it
you
like
already. Yes, tell me.
if you did P1 in quotations plus P1 and you didn't have a toString, like you don't have to call it or anything. If you just didn't have a toString, it wouldn't work.
Wait. So actually, both of them will work if you didn't define the toString. But what will they will print? They will print the address of the object in the memory. But what if you define the
Wait, do you
toString?
mean
Yes.
do you mean if you define the toString, both of them will work?
If you did not define toString, it will also, both of them will work. Why? Because as I told you, Java insert the toString automatically. But the default behavior of the toString is to do what? Is to print the address of the object in the memory. Okay. Now go to the bank account, comment the line toString. We have a method that's called toString, right? Comment it, please, in the bank
Yeah,
account.
I'm
And if you comment it, you have created one print
the
line.
default.
Yes. So the current behavior now, you have two bank account. You created two objects, first account and second account. We already created a print line for the first account. Create another print line for the second account, but after you write the object name, write point toString, and see what is the behavior.
Okay,
And if you're confused, share the code with me.
okay. It prints out the address both times. Oh, what I mean is that, like, I'm not saying it wouldn't work. Like, I mean, it wouldn't actually print out the numbers. It would just print out the address if you don't define your own toString
Exactly.
method.
So which means that the
Okay, that's
toString.
what I meant.
Okay, perfect. Can you share your code? Just share your code. I would like to
Sure.
emphasize something.
Yeah. Can you see it?
You started sharing, but it doesn't yet show me anything on the screen. So give it a few seconds more, maybe.
Okay. Do you know why this issue is happening?
Possibly some internet connection, definitely, either on my side or your side.
Oh,
So sometimes the telecoms or the carrier of the networks that we are using, they might change yeah, the behavior of their um, towers or something that affect our speed. So let me see here. You already
oh,
created. Okay. So, but I actually wanted you to move this here.
oh, okay.
Perfect. Can you replace this with this? And write here second account, please.
I did.
Okay, can you run?
It still prints out the address for both of them.
But
Sorry,
okay,
I thought I wrote second account, but I think I just wrote first account.
okay, but I want to understand from you. Is it both of them having the same address or no? Is it the address
No,
printed?
they don't have the same address.
They don't have the same address. Okay. So what I want to prove to you now that so of course definitely they have different addresses because they are different objects in the memory. But what I want to prove to you here that the behavior when we call the first account without toString is the same behavior than when we call the second account dot toString, which means that the dot toString, even though you already commented it in the class, it still exists. Why it exists? Because it's provided by Java automatically, but you don't see it. I mean, does this prove anything to you?
Okay. Yeah, I get it now. Like the .toString default version is used when you don't call it on your own, so that's why it prints out the address instead.
And then when you do your own version, it calls your own version of toString. Does it make sense so far?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so you stop
Let me
sharing?
just try it one more time.
Yep, please, yeah, do.
Okay.
So you will try it once you uncomment, right?
Yeah, I already uncommented it. Okay, yeah, it prints out both of the values now. Like, so over here it does toString. Like even though I'm not calling toString, can you see what I highlighted?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, even though I don't call .toString, it still does it because like
This is the default
it
behavior
knows
from
that it's
Java.
supposed to
Yes,
use that since we
exactly.
called the toString.
Exactly. So when
But
it
it still
sees
uses our toString because we
e-
called it.
exactly. And so why it does this behavior? Because in the print statement, it is expecting to from the first account to return a string. So it will search any method that is called toString so that it return here a toString that it can be printed out on the screen. Okay, so that is the main reason why it searched for a toString because it needed a string to print it out. Because at the end, inside the
Oh,
print
okay.
statement, we need um, a string to be printed out on the screen. So if that is clear, let us move to the next.
Okay.
Okay. This is almost, I mean, the end of this chapter, but I just want to clarify one thing. If you created a variable, again, we know that this void main will be inside a class that is called driver main class. Okay. And this is different from customized classes. What is a customized class? A custom class is like a bank account and it's like point. The void main will be, I mean, the structure of the void main inside the class main will be always the same. It will always have this here. This is repeated, and we have a class, public class main, always also repeated. with its curly braces. Look at here, we created a variable. If you have a method that try to access this variable that is inside the void main, it will not be accessible. So it will not recognize that there is a variable inside the void main that's called size. Why? Because the scope of the variable here is different from the scope of the variables inside the top half method and the bottom half method. So it means that we are not able to access inside the method, we are not able to access variables that is defined in the void main. If we want to pass a variable, we have to pass it as an input or a parameter to the method itself. So this is two different methods that attempt to access the variable that's called size, but it cannot. It will show an error. So far, does it make sense?
Yeah.
A bit. Can you tell me what is your take here? I mean, why is it hard for you to accept this?
Oh no, I get it.
Okay.
Like the thing is that we made the variable in a different method, so we can't like access it in another one. Because
Yes.
it's not going to know what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So is it as if you are, I mean, two people in two different rooms, they do not know what the other people are talking about. So yeah, that's like this. So
Yeah.
we know that why we write comments to make the code more readable. In the commercial software development, when we are working within a team, comments become very important because you write a code and other people have different style writing code. And when we read other people's code, sometimes it's a bit hard. I mean, when you are writing a commercial code, your code is not so small as we are writing now. Now we are writing only a few lines of code to be able to pass the exam. But at the end, commercial code can contain up to, I mean, not up to, but starting from 6,000 lines and above. So with this, if you are working with a team, the code can easily end up in millions of lines of code. So everyone will be writing his own thousands of lines of code. And when you want to integrate the codes together with other team members, you will find that, oh, they're writing using a different method from yours. So they're writing a different style. They use different naming of variables. So you will get confused. You will spend more time to understand their code and to even integrate your code with their code. And if there's a problem with your code interacting with them, it will be troublesome. Especially, for example, if you are creating a code with your other colleagues in a class and they write their own and you write your own, how can you integrate? So you must reuse the comments. Comment is very essential and important. So we have different ways of writing comments. Here, with two slashes, we write a single line of comment. If we would like to write multiple lines, we use this asterisk slash. This is as an opening, this is as a closing for the comment. You can write it on multiple lines. It will be okay. Documentation comment. This is especially important when we are writing a really commercial software in companies. So sometimes there is tools to help this. So let me show you here. So if I'm writing a documentation comment, I will be writing starting this way and ending it this way. So this is a documentation comment that explains what the function does. In this case, this is a constructor. I'm explaining that there is a precondition. I expect that the parameters that is being passed, which is X and Y, start from 0 to the width of the window. So it means that at the point here, the top left point, this is the 0 and 0, okay? And the screen is extended on X and Y, and the values of X and Y is the width and height of our screen, our current screen, okay? So this is the preconditions. So he expects that you pass X and Y according to the preconditions, which is starting from 0, it doesn't have -1, -2, and it doesn't exceed the maximum width and height of our current screen. So this is the precondition expectation for these two inputs. So normally, when we create a constructor or even a method, we have a precondition and we need to understand the person who designed this class or this method, what kind of parameter he should take. Okay, he designed his code based on which parameter values that can work with the class or the method, and what is the post condition. So the post condition is that you save. So okay, the sprite object is placed on x and y coordinates on the screen. The sprite object is a character that's shown as a part of game. So the post condition is that x position is the one that is going to decide the center of x, and the y condition is the one that decide the center of y on the screen, which is we call it post condition. And we ended up here. This will be a lab for you to finish, but not now. So we need to move to the next. So if we look here, this is very important, and you already actually understand what is a static variable, right? Can you read what you see on the screen, please? I mean, at the bottom, the definition of a static variable.
A static variable is stored in the class instead of each object, a shared global field that all objects can access and modify, like a class constant, except that its value can be changed.
Okay, that is great. So when we add the word final, what is the effect? Can you read the definition here?
Final static variable, a class constant whose value cannot be changed. It's usually public, and it's all caps by convention.
Okay, so can you see here? I make the number of months as final and is static, and it is 12. Why? Because the number of months does not change. So,
yeah.
Okay. What is an instant variable, please?
An instance variable is stored in an object instead of the class. Each object has its own copy of the instance variable.
And this is, we have done it in the bank account. Can you notice or have a look at the code? This is similar to what you have done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can I understand here why he only places the object count inside the constructor? Why he doesn't place it somewhere else? Why is it important for the static variable to be only incremented inside the constructor?
Wait, I think it's supposed to be there because it's static, so it belongs to the class. It's not belonging to the method.
So every time we create an object, it must call the constructor. And the only way to do a proper increment of the static variable is to increment it when the constructor or a new object is created. And we only can know an object is created through the constructor. The constructor must get called once a new object is created. That's why we increment the object count only inside the constructor, because this is the best place to track how many objects was created out of this class. Okay, if you would like to access the object count static variable or the class variable, the only way to do that, you have to use a static method. So what is a static method? It's a normal method that have the static keyword used in it. So a static method can return a static variable, but it cannot return an instance variable. So I cannot put an instance variable inside a static method. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't make sense.
You can't put a no, I was just you can't put a static variable inside an instance method.
You saying the reverse. You're almost saying the reverse of what I say. Can you repeat it again, please?
You can't put an instance variable inside a static method.
Excellent. Yes, this is the correct thing. So inside the static method, we have to call or return a static variable.
A static method or static variable. Okay, it makes sense.
Okay. Now let us have a look. So I created an object out of the bank account, and it created a bank account for James Smith as a start. And then when I call the object name, which is A, I call the method get ID, it will get the ID, it will create maybe a new ID, okay? And then when I try to know how many accounts I already created, I will not use the object name, I will use a class name, which is this one. This is a class name, I get the number of accounts. This is a static method that get called, and what it will return a static variable from inside the class. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a look here and tell me why is this in red not allowed?
Name is an instance variable and it's being called inside a static method.
Okay,
That's
that's
why.
perfect. Yes, yes. Okay, the scopes again. We talk about the scope just now, but we talk about it again here. If you created a loop like this, and this loop have int I, so we defined an I variable only inside the for loop. So if the for loop have a curly braces like this, if you try to print the value of I outside the curly braces of the for loop, it will tell you that I no longer exists. Why? Because you choose to define the integer I here within the scope of the for loop. So outside the loop, the I does not exist. You cannot access it here. So, I mean, am I able to access the X inside this method? Yes. From these curly braces to these curly braces, the X will still exist. I'm able to access it and print it and even change its scope. So the X scope is from here, the curly braces, until the end of the curly braces. But the I scope is only within the how to say the for loop that it was created within. Why? So anything I define inside the for loop will not exist outside the for loop. Can you repeat again? What did I say here?
Anything that you define in the for loop will not exist outside of the for loop. Like how the I, its scope is only between the curly braces. So if you call it outside of the curly braces, it won't like work because it doesn't exist anymore.
Perfect. Can I ask you something, please? Is that possible that you can make I exist outside the for loop? Is there a way to make this exist outside the for loop? If I want to print I value here, what change I need to do here?
Oh, you can
Yes.
you can store whatever you get inside the for loop. Like you can say I is equal to another variable, and then you can call that variable.
Yes, yes. Can you give me an example?
Like I can say I equals new variable, and then I can say system.out.print new
So
variable outside.
can I say X equal I here, and then I print X outside? So can I print, can I do like this? Is that possible or not?
I'm not sure because the scope for X is between
The curly
like
braces, right?
these Yeah.
What about if I
Yeah.
put the print immediately after these curly braces? Will it work? Will it print the last value of I? Yes
Mm,
or no? Mhm.
I wait, you'd put it after the curly brace?
After these curly braces. So it's still
Oh yeah,
within.
it would work then.
Perfect. Okay. There is another way that I can remove the int from here. And then I come here, I say int I like this. So it means that I
I
redefined.
can't see anything.
Oh, really? You can't see what I'm writing?
Oh, it says Zoom is not responding for me.
Okay. What about
Can you
now?
screen share again, please?
Yes, I am. Okay, what about now? Can you see my screen?
I can see it now. Yeah, I just couldn't see that you were writing in because you said that you were, but I couldn't see it.
Okay, so what I want to say, instead of the int I here, I remove the int and I declare the I here, like this. If I declare the I
Oh, yeah,
outside the
that would
for
work.
loop, and then I start to use the I am able to come after the curly braces of the for loop, and I can print system.out.print line, and then I put it will work. Does it make sense? I mean, this is what we need to understand: how to make the variable available to all scope, or how to limit it. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Really?
Yeah, it makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. Can you read this code and tell me why this code will not show an error? The top code.
Oh, because their scope, they're not in the same scope. Like each of them have a different scope.
Okay.
That's why we can have two int i's. We've been doing this for a long time, but I never noticed that. Like if you do two for int loops, like you're using the same variable. How are you allowed to?
Yes, because of the scope. Yes. So I
Yeah.
think now it's clear. Okay. Now have a look at here. So now I'm defining I within the for loop.
Wait,
And
no,
then
that won't work because it's in the same scope.
perfect. And if I try to assign, since I'm declaring I only within the for loop, if I try to assign anything to the I, it would show me an error because it's outside the curly braces of the for loop. Does this make sense?
Yeah, because it forgot that it's like already it doesn't
Yes,
remember
it
anymore that
forgot.
it's
Yes,
an int
exactly.
I. You're supposed to like define it all over again. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So now, again, if you would like, this is if statement. So what applies for the for loop applies also for the for statement. If we within the scope of the if statement, we define a variable inside the if statement, outside the curly braces of the if statement, we will not remember the y anymore because the y was only declared inside. So if you would like the scope of y to be all over your code, you have to take the declaration and put it before. So you have to declare the y before here and then just use it inside the if statement and it will work. So the solution for this not to give an error is to declare it here. I think this is clear, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So the final thing before we close for today, I would like to tell you that any instant variable, we are able to use it all over. I mean, this is not void main. This is a custom class that we created, which is point. If we would like to access X and Y within the scope of the class, we are able to do that as long as it's in between the opening curly braces and the closing curly braces of a class. X and Y, we're able to access it all over the methods as long as it's within the class itself. Is that clear? Or I need to
Yeah.
repeat again?
No, it makes sense.
Okay. Um, okay. Finally, just to end here, can I know why the init x and init y cannot be recognized within the get x?
Because their scope is only the curly brace that's next to init y and the curly brace that's under y equals init y. So that's their scope, and you're calling them like outside of their
Their
like way
scope.
out of their scope. So they
Perfect.
forgot what it is.
Perfect. Okay, that is really good. Okay, that's really good for today. Ananya, please, like what we talked about before, please practice the code outside our class. Um, do you see any improvement in your performance inside your school classes, or still not yet?
Like we're really ahead, but I feel like I feel like I understand how to write. Like if we're traversing through an array or something, I understand how to do that. Or if we're using for loops, um, or while loops, and I get how to do that, and if loops.
Okay. And what is your main issues in the arrays? I mean, in
Like
general.
it's just that,
Uh-huh.
oh, I don't
Yes.
have any issues.
Okay.
Like I feel like I'm just a little bit struggling more with objects. It's not really
Oh.
bad, but like I feel like it's a little bit more difficult for me than like arrays and loops and stuff.
But you have to understand that this is
But I do
normal.
understand more now. Like I actually get it.
Okay, so you need to understand that many people reject the idea of object itself. So it is normal. It will take you some time to get used to the concept of objects. It's very clear. That's not only you. It's with most of the students I have seen, and with me myself when I started to learn about objects. I feel that it's another level of complexity that is not needed. You only will realize its real need.
Yeah, I always feel like it's not needed.
Yes, yes, and believe me, I also felt the same for at least one of 2 years when I start try to write even code. And you will never realize that unless you really complete one whole project of software, and then it is full of bugs that you cannot solve. Then only then you will start to realize, oh, if I built my code based on object from the start, it would have saved me this troublesome of bugs that it always, or not always, but sometimes happen. So you will have a running software that run perfectly for maybe 2 or 3 days. Then suddenly after 2 or 3 days, you will find, oh, the customer is telling you something that, oh, after 2 or 3 days, it start to crash, or even to some weird thing happen. So it will tell you maybe, for example, at the night shift, your code crash, and it always maybe happen in the night shift, and you will never know. So why in the morning it's working? That is when you become crazy. So that's why what I'm telling you, you will not be able to feel the real unless you really write software. So I understand your struggle, and I totally understand it, and I felt that myself, and I know it would have saved me a lot of time if I just accepted the advices from the start, is that to build my software based on object oriented. It's complex layer that is added, but it benefits. Okay, so I understand your struggle.
Okay.
Okay, then see you next class. Take care.
Okay. See you next class. Thank you.
Bye bye.